everybody, it's Rachel. First, as always, I want to thank those of you who have stopped by my channel to listen to my videos, hear a few things that I have to say. I appreciate everybody coming by. And of course, today I'm going to be talking about Harry and Meghan. This is my second upload for today because it has been poppin' in the world of celebrity news. And of course, Harry and Meghan are always my favorite people to talk about because they are some of my least favorite people. So the big news that has come out, and it was in the Sun over in the UK through some sources. So again, take that as you will, but my guess is that it's probably true, is that they are done talking about the royal family, that they have said everything they've needed to say, and that they're wanting to move on. Now, I find this very interesting. And first of all, the reason why I find this interesting is that they have done nothing but talk about the royal family since they've left. They have gone multiple interviews. My goodness, Harry wrote a book about it. And in fact, during his press tour for Spare, he even mentioned that he cut out hundreds of pages from that book and that there would be enough for an additional book. Now, let's be real here. Harry made a lot of money off of that book, and so did the publishing company. So you know that the publishing company would be more than happy to publish another book as it relates to Harry's time in the royal family. But how unusual is it that Harry, who we know desperately needs money to maintain their lifestyle in Montecito, if that even is where they're living, because there's rumors that they don't even live there anymore, that they actually have moved to Los Angeles. So why would he walk away from another big publishing deal? I find that very curious. And there are two things that make me think that there are some things afoot that have caused this statement to be released. First of all, I think it has something to do with Meghan's new talent agency. As I said in a previous video, a couple weeks ago, she signed with one of the biggest talent agencies in the United States. It is a very powerful agency. They work with some of the top celebrities in the entire world representing them. And talent agents, they do a lot of stuff, right? They, help people get jobs, help people get endorsements. But they just don't come by themselves, especially an organization like Meghan signed up with. They come with a team. There's going to be publicists. There's going to be crisis managers that are involved in that representation, especially with somebody like Meghan and Harry coming off this alleged catastrophic car chase. They're going to have people all over that trying to figure out what to do. So my hunch is that probably this talent agent and the team surrounding it sat down with Meghan and Harry and had a real kind of come to Jesus conversation where they were basically laying things out for them. Like, look, your popularity is at an all-time low. Americans, and of course the British, are tired of hearing about you complain about the royal family. Your popularity is less than Prince Andrew, and Prince Andrew is alleged to have been engaged in inappropriate relationships with minor young women, and hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. So what does that say about you if your popularity is lower than a guy that hung out with him? That quite frankly says a lot. So I think that this talent agent read them the riot act and told them that they have to do massive rehabilitation to their image to be taken seriously by anybody. Because I'm not really sure what major studio heads or directors or producers would want to touch Meghan with a 10-foot pole when her image is so bad. Hollywood loves a comeback story. There are plenty of actors that have had really bad things happen in their personal lives. You can look at Robert Downey Jr. as a prime example. He was seriously addicted to drugs and alcohol, went to prison, just was a mess, just an absolute mess with everything going on. But he got his life together, and then he became Iron Man in one of the biggest franchises in film history. And people welcomed him back with open arms because he did take accountability for himself and he made better choices. So he became somebody that studios could rely upon and wouldn't bring this horrible bubble of mistrust and dislike by the general public that would want to go see a Marvel movie. And there are countless other, celebrities that have had a difficult time but have managed to make it through and rehab their image. I can think of another one right off the top of my head, Jodie Sweetin from Full House. After the show, she kind of fell down the rabbit hole that a lot of child stars do, getting involved in drugs. She got herself sober and, obviously got back on Fuller House, but also now does a ton of movies for the Hallmark Channel. So she is, successful again. So it happens. Hollywood is a forgiving place, and I think the general population is too. But sometimes you can do things that are so unforgivable that the public either takes a really, really long time to forgive you, or they don't want anything to do with you at all. I'm looking at like O.J. Simpson as a prime example. Obviously, we're not talking about the same thing here. Harry and Meghan have not, hurt anybody physically, or ended their life. But, O.J. Simpson is persona non grata, while, Harry and Meghan obviously aren't to that level, but their public image is a total disaster zone. Because I think the public is tired of the constant whining. It has been 3 years basically of nonstop complaining, and it has gotten to the place of, don't you have anything else to talk about? And I think people are tired of the use of Diana. I think that car chase business really sealed the deal for a lot of people, because Princess Diana's death is a flashpoint for a lot of folks, that because she was so beloved, and to use her memory of her death in such a way, I think really sealed the deal for a lot of people, that these are just people who are just so deluded, have no idea what anybody thinks of them, that they're just believing that they can say whatever they want to say and people are going to fawn all over them. And clearly that's not the case. They are so unpopular right now. And of course it had other things to do, because with Spare, people didn't like that Prince Harry was really dogging his family out. But this kind of takes it to a new level. It kind of sealed the deal. And I'm guessing that talent agent broke it down to them and was like, look, it needs to be over. You can't keep talking about them anymore, because 1, nobody's interested anymore. And 2, people are sick of it. And 3, people think that you're using the royal family now. And it just no longer works for them. And I think maybe they've finally figured it out. But the other part that I think is interesting, as we've heard all in the news that the royal family was very cautious, is cautious about communicating with Harry, because they were afraid that anything they said would wind up on, a newspaper, a Netflix documentary, whatever. So people didn't want to interact with him. Well, here's my other thought about what could be happening, why this statement has been released. We've all heard that there is trouble in paradise, that Harry is spending a lot of time away from home, that Harry has maybe even seen divorce lawyers. So maybe if their relationship truly is ending and Harry kind of sees the writing on the wall, maybe he does want to reestablish his relationship with his family, because he's going to need their support, both emotionally and financially. I don't think Harry will ever move back to England. I think he will stay in California to be near his children, to help raise them. But I think that he wants to be able to have a relationship that the other members of the family trust him. Now, a part of the statement with the son is that the next phase is reconciliation. And so that's what that kind of means to me, that he's going to need the royal family. And so by releasing a statement like that, by having a source release it, it's maybe a clue of, hey, you can trust me again. Things are different. my life is different. I've seen what's happened, I've digested it, and I have to move forward. And with Harry coming to the UK next week, he's probably going to want to see some of his family members. And I think this is a message to them, again, of you can trust me. So we'll see. But that's kind of my feeling on it. So perhaps in the future weeks and months, we'll get notice of a divorce. And I don't wish divorce on anybody. It is hard. And it's difficult, especially on kids. And especially when you're a public figure and you're dealing with family across an ocean. But something has changed. And I think that it's finally time that Harry does something different in a positive way. You know, as much as I dislike Harry right now, I still do have kind of warm, fuzzy feelings for him because I grew up with him. I saw him mature into, you know, a really fun, great young man until he met Meghan, where things went off the rails. And I wonder how much of this is really him and how much of this is really Meghan. And I tend to think more of this is Meghan. But we'll see. And I hope that Harry can find his way back to his, you know, family. And I'm not saying he has to be a working royal or anything like that. Just being a member where he can go to dinner with his family and enjoy their company, and nobody has to be worried about it being splashed across the newspaper, and that personal details are out there that otherwise wouldn't or shouldn't be. So we'll see as things move forward, but I definitely do hope that this is true, that they are no longer going to be talking about the royal family. I'd be curious to see what they are going to talk about, whether or not it's going to be like self-help stuff, whether or not it's going to be feminist-related things. Anything is better than railing on the royal family, even though I certainly would not engage in self-help stuff from Harry or feminist stuff from Meghan. At least it's different. And, you know, that way it would be something I would feel a little bit more legitimate about, that they're moving forward with their lives, because it does nobody any favors to be caught in a spin cycle when you can't move forward, when you're trapped. And that's what's happened. So we'll see. But I definitely, again, thank you for coming by. And I will keep my eyes on this. And I will, of course, upload additional videos when anything else comes out. So again, thanks so much for coming by. Bye.